I'm a professor of obstetrics and gynecology in Zambia. If you like, I was the first professor in this field in my country. And right now, I'm the first and only full professor. So I teach at the University of Zambia, the main public university, and also do my clinical practice at the University Teaching Hospital, the main teaching hospital in the country. So I teach both undergraduate and postgraduate students. CPD is very, very important because it is in a way meant to assess whether people are keeping in touch with modern trends in medicine. We know that now we are practicing evidence-based practice, and there's always energy revolving. So if you trained, let's say 20 years ago, and you are keeping the same knowledge, you are unlikely to keep up with the trends. So continuing medical education encourages people to read and be up to date in their practice. So it is a very, very important activity.
Now, I know that in Africa, there are some challenges for healthcare professionals actually accessing these opportunities for CME CPD. Can you speak to some of the challenges that you've come across, especially with the team of healthcare professionals you work with?
So one of the challenges I would put across is that, as I've indicated, you have energy, knowledge revolving, and we don't have course writers, dedicated course writers who can write these courses for CMEs. These courses need to be updated, reviewed regularly as trends change in the medical practice. So we don't have dedicated people to write these courses. In addition, to administer these courses, populations are growing. The main mode of administering possibly could be through online courses. But then many platforms are just coming up now. Platforms like Zoom, Moodle, Astria are just coming up, and most of them are expensive and not affordable to smaller institutions. So that is one of the challenges. And unless we have maybe somebody who could be dedicated to sponsor these platforms. The other challenge is that of connectivity. Not everybody has got internet. If they have internet, maybe there's a slow bandwidth. So if there can be technology where people can even have recorded lessons and exams, which could cater for people without immediate connectivity, those are some of the issues which could bring out this challenge to resolution.
From what you say, it's really the cost is a problem. Access in terms of connectivity to online platforms may be a problem. What about time? What do you think about people who have to go to venues? I mean, talk about things like live conferences, seminars, where they actually have to go to a location. Will that also be a problem?
Well, if it became mandatory, like for example, our licensure institutions here are trying to make CPD and CMEs mandatory. In terms of time, the health workers will be obliged to find time. They can do it at night. They can do it at any convenient time. They can get permission. So if it's going to the venue, it has to be arranged possibly better for a group. It could be a group session much better than individualized. Mm-hmm. But if it's online, anybody who can manage to access or even recorded courses and exams, that is a possibility.
Yes, that's great. Because where I'm leading with that question is the fact that all MiLHO Initiative courses are online. And it looks like it is a good option for many healthcare professionals in Africa. Would you agree?
I totally agree, yes.
Okay, that's great. The other thing that MiLHO is thinking of is an app so that, keeping in mind the problem of immediate access because of bandwidth. The thought process there is that if a healthcare professional is practicing in the village setting and they go to an urban area where there is bandwidth, they can download those courses and then do it at their own time. So we are thinking of an app, and I want to hear from you whether this is also a good idea.
Well, it is a brilliant idea, as I mentioned, that if somebody can have access to a recorded session of learning and being examined, that would be the best way to go. So if you can have an app where somebody can access, do the course, and maybe just find a one-off time to have internet access and submit what they've done, that would be an excellent option.
That's great. It's good to hear. Now, you were the subject matter expert who reviewed the MiLHO course on reproductive health. It was an extreme honor and pleasure working with you on that program. Can you tell me what stood out to you about the content, the way that MiLHO goes about developing its content?
Okay, so what stood out was that the content which you can measure by, say, using the medical education term, a blueprint, the course dissected all the important components in the particular topic we did in reproductive health, and in particular in a more, a very simplified way, such that any lay person would be able to understand the content without complicating it as if you are talking to medical persons.
Oh, thank you for that. It's really appreciated, and that's really the goal of MiLHO courses, in that it is targeted to, if you like, the general healthcare professionals. They need to be able to, understand whatever disease is presented to them, including reproductive health. So it's really the way the courses are designed and developed is so that they can be well understood and so that it can cover the different aspects of disease management, from diagnosis all the way to treatment and prevention. So I'm happy to hear from you that we're on the right path.
Sure.
What was your experience working with MiLHO? The reason why I'm asking this is because, as you know, medical practice covers different disease areas, and we do want to bring on, more, experts like yourself. So what would you say was your experience working with the MiLHO initiative team?
Well, I was impressed by your motivation, your interest, your intelligence, especially that you are non-medical personnel. I'm really amazed that you are able to capture course contents of medical field. So that really impressed me and motivated me to work with you, because you did not completely rely on me. You were guiding me as if you were a medical person. That was brilliant.
Well, I'm not sure I would agree with that completely, because you actually had a great, input in shaping the content the way it should be. I definitely recall you telling me that we need to revise it slightly because it doesn't apply in my setting. So I always, remember that and keep it in mind when, we develop our courses, because the intent is to make it relevant, to the local setting. So, so I do really appreciate your input, and it was a pleasure also working with you. Now, to the challenge that we are currently facing, and that is accreditation. All the courses we do are CPD certified, but they are not accredited in the specific country in which we are, hoping for healthcare professionals to take it. This has been an ongoing challenge, and I know we have talked about this in the past. I am still looking for guidance and help. And if there's any input, you can give us, or guidance you can give us to make that happen, that would be really appreciated.